Hey guys, in today's video we will talk about the origins of the 8-star Demon Lords. This source is from the Tensura Light Novel. From the start, we will know how the Demon Lord Council was founded and who the previous Demon Lords were. Before we continue, please subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell to be notified of my upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first Red Primordial Rouge, also known as Guy Crimson, was the first person to awaken as a true Demon Lord. He did this by destroying a human nation with more than 1 million people and turning it into a city of death. Guy destroyed every country he saw as a mediator for Veldanava. The people saw Guy as a Demon Lord and a threat. With the help of their men, Misery and Rain took over a powerful entity. They acquired popularity gradually while exterminating the indigenous devils, gods, and magians. Misery also began to snoop around in human culture and conduct espionage. She was able to identify people who needed to be eliminated by carefully examining the information she had obtained. The goal was to create tension in human society by giving people a moderate amount of fear. And in this way, the Demon Lord system was created. Malim Nava, the Dragon Empress, is the child of Veldanava and Lucia. She was born a dragonoid, a spiritual entity with a bodily form resembling an atypical true dragon. Her power is immense because she had inherited Veldanava's power. The first tragedy happened soon when the Nazca Kingdom was the target of a terrorist strike that took advantage of River's mission. Both Lucia and Veldanava were killed as a result of it, which was the work of an enemy at war. Malim grew up without ever seeing her own parents' faces. Malim's pet dragon, which the Star King Dragon Veldanava had given him, was killed in some sort of governmental plan, which was tragic. Malim was devastated by the loss of her only friend, and she destroyed the nation that had carried out the massacre, along with the several 100,000 residents who called it home, in a fit of rage. Malim then awoke as a true Demon Lord. It was determined that Guy would take all possible measures to appease Malim. Additionally, Ramirez helps in calming Malim's rage, which Malim, at the time, was unable to control. This fight went on for 7 days and 7 nights, turning the rich lands in the west into a wasteland. The three sides came to an agreement. She became one of the oldest and strongest Demon Lords, and she is called the Tyrant of Destruction. Let's not forget that Ramirez, along with Guy Crimson and Malim Nava, is one of the oldest Demon Lords. She is not a legitimate Demon Lord like the others, but because of her friendship with Guy and Malim, she can continue to claim to be one. She is also the hero's guide, who is thought to grant heroes divine protection. In the conflict between Malim and Guy Crimson, Ramirez absorbed the dark magic of demons, the potent aura of dragons, and something that caused her to transform into a corrupted spirit and then into a Demon Lord. She was able to put an end to Malim's rampage, and after Malim regained consciousness, the conflict was resolved. Ramirez was the one who helped her regain her sanity. The world would have fallen before the war was finished if Ramirez hadn't intervened. Because of how she looks, most individuals don't recognize her as a Demon Lord until they learn that she is the reincarnation of the Queen of the Fairies. As Queen of the Fairies, she fell from grace, but Guy and Malim accepted her despite everything she had been through. After the battle, the three decided that Guy would try to get more power, Malim would live freely and do what she wanted, and Ramirez would become the Fairy of the Labyrinth and guide and protect the whole world. Walpurgis. As the name implies, the three members of Demon Lords used to come together for meals in the beginning. Over time, Walpurgis has taken on different meanings. There are more Demon Lords than ever before, preventing the extinction of humanity. Guy's job is to do that, but he has been getting more people to help him. De Gruel was the first to become the 4th Demon Lord. The vicious Titans were imprisoned after challenging the Star King Dragon Veldanava in ancient times. Those were De Gruel and his other 2 brothers. A king of tyranny who causes trouble all over the world. His huge destructive powers had turned many places into scorched earth. Even worse gods of destruction were used to describe De Gruel and the others, but after following Veldanava, they stopped. This did not imply that he had changed into a reclusive person, though. His rage had given him the title the Continent's Wrath, even now that Veldanava had sealed away his power. The holy void of Damargania is the ruined nation of Degrul. The decisive conflict between Guy and Malim left the city in ruins long ago. But the tragedy of that battle has still had an effect on the city. His desire to increase his territory led him to have his sights set on human culture as well. So far, he had avoided a fight with the Queen of Nightmares and had not done anything against her. It wasn't certain how much longer he could stand it, though. Ruminous Valentine was the next Demon Lord. She is a true Demon Lord as well as a ruler of the Kingdom of Darkness, as indicated by her title, Queen of Nightmares. She is extremely powerful and the sole daughter of the vampiric ancestor. She was regarded as the ancestor of gods who were descended from Veldanava. Being one of the original vampires, Ruminous went ahead and founded the Night Rose Kingdom for her race. However, 2,000 years ago, Veldora destroyed the first city, forcing her to flee before her people were wiped out. Over the following many centuries, since the Holy Empire Ribirio's establishment, the two twins have committed their lives to serving Luminous as her servants. They serve as Ruminous' stand-ins, with Roy Valentine playing the role of the Demon Lord. As a stand-in for Louis Valentine, who assumed the role of Pope of the Holy Kingdom and head of the Western Holy Church. Ruminous is the only deity worshipped by the Western Saints Church. The same may be true of the Holy Empire Rubrios, and both can be regarded as followers of the Romanism faith. The Western Saints Church started out as a group that spread the teachings of their goddess Ruminous. They did this with the help of the Holy Empire Rubrios. Dino became the sixth person to become a Demon Lord after that. Dino is a lazy person who likes to waste his time sleeping, which is what the name Sleeping Ruler suggests. The seven primordial angels were formed from the great spirit of light by the creator god Veldanava. Dino was one of the highest levels of beings known as Seraphim, and he wielded energy that was greater than an awakened Demon Lord. He came to Earth long ago after receiving a role from Veldanava. He was tasked by Veldanava with keeping an eye on the human race to prevent their extinction. Dino was a watcher who had gained access to the Demon Lord Council. He was there to keep an eye on the world. Dino's job was to determine whether the causal chain between Demon Lords and heroes was functioning properly. However, since Veldanava had vanished, there was no longer anyone to report to. As a result of several events, Dino and his colleagues were transformed into fallen angels. He became a Demon Lord because that was the only way he could carry out the orders of his vanished master. This transformed the Valpurgis into a business debriefing, and 6 people became Demon Lords. That marked the start of a new age. As Demon Lords, strong mages gained dominance. Getting a Demon Lord seed is the bare minimum needed. So, ambitious mages like Kazarium became Demon Lords to meet this requirement. Kazarium was an undead elf. He was also known to be a very smart and cunning Demon Lord. At first, he became famous for his uncanny ability to gather information and come up with complex and clever plans. Taking control of the territory, he overcame persecution and became Cursed Lord Kazarium despite the brutal war against humans and demi-humans. He was acknowledged as one of the demon rulers and gradually increased his dominance. He developed a strong relationship with Frey, the Sky Queen, and Carrion, the Beast Master, whom he recommended as Demon Lords. At Kazarium's domain's border, a human by the name of Leon once proclaimed himself the Demon Lord. The idea was to manage Leon and teach him a lesson in humility after he declared himself a Demon Lord in the midst of nowhere. Later, Kazarium tried to punish Leon for making such bold claims, but his efforts failed badly. Kazarium's body was destroyed by Leon's blow, and he was left with only his spirit body. The fact that he did not vanish was a miracle. Kazarium, who had attempted suicide and to whom no one had ever intervened, was helped by Yuki Kagarazaka. Kazarium made the decision to accept the boy as his master and submit to him. The young man did not complain because this was the understanding they had reached. The former Demon Lord's astral body had finally been successfully transferred to this homunculus's physical body a few days prior. Kazarium takes on the body of a fragile woman because he no longer possesses the strength to stand alone. She named herself as Kagali. As Yuki Kagarazaka's secretary, he continued to have an effect on the world with the help of his subordinates from the moderate Harlequin Alliance. Leon Cromwell was a traveler from another world has been looking for Chloe. Leon visited Ramirez while he was still a young child. He asked her to summon a high-level ancient elemental who would be knowledgeable about it because he was evidently looking for information on something. Unexpectedly, he later entered into a contract with a light elemental. It basically served as Ramirez's right-hand man and approached Leon with ease. It immediately entered his body after identifying him as its master. Ramirez gave Leon the title of hero and promised him the divine guardianship of the spirits. In the end, Leon declared himself a demon lord, enraged Kigali, and won a life-or-death battle with him. Leon replaced Kigali on the Demon Lord Council and became an official Demon Lord. Platinum Saber became his alias once he accepted the title of Demon Lord. The next is Clayman. Being one of the 10 Demon Lords, Clayman is a strange individual because he doesn't like to take the lead and initiate anything. Instead, he employs his pawn to bring about the events he has planned. Many years ago, Kazarium created Clayman as a death man to be a member of the Moderate Harlequin Alliance, also known as the Crazed Clown. With Kazarium's assistance, he attained one of the 10 great demon lords in order to strengthen his position within the Demon Lord Council. All of Kazarium's former followers went to submit to Clayman's rule after he was defeated by Demon Lord Leon. Kazarium's domain was taken over by Clayman. It was accepted by the other demon lords without opposition, and the subsequent integration went without incident. Demon Lord Kazarium's precautionary strategy, which he developed for situations like this, was playing out exactly as planned. As a new demon lord, Clayman gradually widened his domain and established himself as a formidable opponent. Clayman possesses the greatest wealth of all the demon lords. They would cooperate in order to broaden and strengthen their power base because Clayman, Carrion, and Frey were seen as the new generation of demon lords. Their objective was to close the power gap between them and the older demon lords. Carrion is the leader of the lycanthropes and the beast kingdom of Eurazania. He belonged to the group of 10 great demon lords. About 500 years ago, during the last great Tenma War, Carrion did stand out among his fellow beastmen. With the help of demon lords Kazarium and Malim Nava, he became one of the 10 great demon lords. Carrion became one of the most active demon lords in the current era in order to increase his power base and close the power and influence gap between himself and the older generation of demon lords. Frey became a self-proclaimed demon lord at the same time as Clayman and Carrion. Because of this, she is considered one of the youngest demon lords of the 10 great demon lords. To close the gap between herself and the older demon lords, Frey became one of the most active demon lords in building up her own power base. As a result, she is one of the most well-known demon lords in the world for her exploits and strength. Frey set up her own kingdom and is now the queen of all the harpies and other creatures with wings in the world. She didn't join Clayman's plan to make a new puppet demon lord at first, but she did so later because she wanted to boost her own power. Demon lords have come and gone many times. Soon, people started to talk about the 10 greatest demon lords. Then the slime appeared on the scene. By the time the Valpurgis meeting starts, Ramirez Tempest plans to join them as the rookie demon lord, who is a newly awakened true demon lord. He has a complicated relationship with this group. A few are still unsure or neutral towards him, while others are his friends or enemies. Since Season 2, Demon Lord Clayman has emerged as Ramirez's worst enemy, and it was he who ordered the vicious attack on Tempest by the Falmouth and the Church. Ramirez Tempest and Demon Lord Clayman engage in mortal combat with their respective parties. But after Clayman's plan was exposed by Malim and Frey, it was discovered that the Orb of Domination had no effect on Malim. Then Clayman is being pushed by Ramirez to the edge, which evolves into a pseudo-awakening. Clayman believed he had the strength to battle Ramirez, but Raphael had only taken that into account. As a result, Clayman was defeated and slain by Ramirez. Frey and Carrion stepped down and became Malim's subordinates, and Ramirez was recognized as a member of the council, bringing their number down to 8. It took several years for the 10 great demon lords to decide on a name, which the demon lords later changed to 8-star demon lords or octagram after Ramirez suggested it. The demon lords now present themselves with a new title that will be revered by everyone. The new age of demon lords has begun since that point. So that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. See you again on my next video.